over 200,000 people tuned in to watch Shedeur Sanders' debut. Not because of hype, because they sensed a shift. For years, Cleveland fans have had little more than heartbreak and bad headlines from their quarterback room. But when Sanders hit that 52-yard bomb and moved the offense like a seasoned pro, something changed. Suddenly, the Browns weren't just surviving games, they were dictating them. Joey Odin says this could be the beginning of something historic. And he might be right.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
The city of Cleveland hasn't felt this level of energy since Kosar wore the uniform. Huntington Bank Field is expected to be deafening, and with the defense making quarterbacks miserable and Sanders injecting belief into the offense, this team is dangerous. If the Browns win this, it won't just be an upset over the 49ers. It'll be a rebirth for a franchise desperate for one. The Cleveland Browns might be on the edge of actual history, and it's all hinging on one name, Shedeur Sanders. A Browns insider just sent a loud, very public warning to the NFL. And if you've been sleeping on what's happening in Cleveland, this is your wake-up call. Because what we're looking at right now is the real possibility that Shedeur Sanders could become the first Browns rookie quarterback to start 2-0 since Bernie Kosar. Yes, Kosar. That Kosar. And if you know anything about the Browns' quarterback history, you know how long this kind of opportunity has been out of reach. It's not just rare, it's unheard of in the modern era. The last time a rookie QB for Cleveland started 2-0 in the Super Bowl era? Never. This isn't just a game. This is a historical pivot point. And it all comes down to this matchup against the 49ers. Let's talk about Shedeur's debut, because it wasn't just solid, it was electric. He threw for over 200 yards, delivered a 52-yard bomb under pressure, and made it all look easy. The kid looked like he belonged. And for Cleveland fans who've sat through years of underwhelming quarterback play, it was like flipping the lights back on in a room that's been dark for 2 decades. This wasn't a rookie who needed to be protected by a run-heavy scheme or carried by his defense. This was a quarterback making NFL-level throws and extending plays with his mobility. He changed the energy on the field. The locker room felt it. The fans felt it. Over 200,000 people tuned in to watch his debut live. Not post-game highlights. Live. That's not just hype. That's investment. That's a fan base that sees something they haven't had in years. A reason to believe. And the timing couldn't be more perfect. Because Shedeur isn't walking into a soft matchup in Week 2. He's walking straight into a war with the 49ers. A legitimate Super Bowl contender. A team with an 8-4 record and a reputation for punishing quarterbacks who aren't ready for prime time. But here's the twist. This game isn't just about Shedeur. It's about the entire Browns team showing up at the right moment. Start with the defense, because it's terrifying. Led by Myles Garrett, this defense just racked up 10 sacks against the Raiders. 10. Garrett is chasing the NFL single-season sack record like he's on a mission. And if that weren't enough, the Browns' defensive unit has been suffocating opposing offenses all season. They're aggressive, disruptive, and opportunistic. And when they create turnovers, they give Shedeur short fields and golden opportunities. This defense is the perfect foundation for a young quarterback to thrive on. And it's not just the players, it's the coaching. Jim Schwartz, the Browns' defensive coordinator, knows Kyle Shanahan's system better than most. He's faced Shanahan 9 times, and while the record sits at 1-8, that history gives him a detailed blueprint of what's coming. It's a chess match. And this time, Schwartz has the pieces he needs to compete. Now, let's be honest. The 49ers aren't going to roll over. Their offense, led by Christian McCaffrey, is still one of the most versatile in the league. McCaffrey can torch defenses both as a runner and a receiver, and when he's rolling, it forces defenders to pick their poison. But the 49ers have also shown cracks. Turnovers have crept in. Brock Purdy has thrown multiple interceptions in key games. And when pressure gets to him early, the entire rhythm of that offense can fall apart. That's where the Browns have a real shot to take control. If Garrett and the defense can rattle Purdy and flip momentum early, it puts the game squarely in Sanders' hands. And based on his debut, he's not just ready for the spotlight. He wants it. Shedeur's playstyle isn't reckless, but it's aggressive. He will take those deep shots. He will roll out and extend drives with his legs. And more importantly, he's not playing scared. That 52-yard pass? That wasn't schemed open. That was a quarterback trusting his arm and delivering in a pressure moment. That changes how defenses have to play. Suddenly, you can't stack the box. You can't play soft zone and dare him to throw. Because he will, and he can beat you over the top. That deep ball threat also opens up the Browns' run game and the play-action menu. Suddenly, everything becomes harder to defend. And that's what makes this game so dangerous for the 49ers. And don't underestimate what's happening with the fans. This game is in Cleveland, at Huntington Bank Field. It's going to be loud. It's going to be chaotic. And that energy is going to matter. This is a home field advantage the Browns haven't truly been able to weaponize in years. But now, with this defense and this quarterback, it becomes a factor. And it's already showing up in the betting lines. Vegas had the 49ers favored by 6. That number has dropped to 4.5. That's not random. That's bettors watching the Browns gain confidence, seeing the pieces come together, and recognizing that this game isn't as lopsided as it looked 2 weeks ago. There's growing belief, both inside and outside the building, that the Browns can win this game. And the implications of that are massive. If Sanders leads the Browns to a win, he doesn't just make history. He redefines what this team is. He changes how the league sees Cleveland. He gives the front office a real reason to build around him, not as a stopgap, not as a hopeful development project, but as the guy. Think about how rare that is. Since re-entering the league in 1999, the Browns have cycled through quarterback after quarterback, never finding one who could genuinely take the reins. And now, in just 2 games, Shedeur Sanders could become the most impactful rookie quarterback this franchise has seen in decades. This game is his proving ground, not just for fans, not just for the media, but for the locker room, the coaches, the front office, for every player who's been waiting for someone they can rally behind on the offensive side of the ball. If Sanders performs under pressure, if he delivers another composed, explosive outing, it'll be impossible to ignore what's happening in Cleveland. And yeah, there are still challenges. The 49ers are physical. They're experienced. Their defense can collapse a pocket in seconds. And Nick Bosa is going to be coming for Sanders on nearly every play. But Sanders already showed he can handle pressure. He already proved he can escape, reset, and still make a big throw. That's what makes this game so compelling. It's not a mismatch. It's not a fluke opportunity. It's a real, competitive, historically meaningful matchup between 2 teams with everything on the line, for very different reasons. For the 49ers, it's about playoff position. It's about staying in the elite tier of the NFC. For the Browns, it's about something bigger. It's about identity, legacy, the future. This is their shot to turn the... If Shedeur Sanders wins this game, it's not just a rookie milestone. It's the start of a story that could reshape everything we know about Cleveland football. So what do you think? Is this where the narrative flips? Can Sanders go 2-0 and carve his name into Browns history? Hit that like button if you're all in on the Shedeur era. Drop a comment below with your predictions. Will the Browns pull off the upset? Or will the 49ers shut down the hype? And don't forget to subscribe, because no matter how this ends, the NFL is watching. And so are we. There's a reason the NFL is holding its breath right now. And no, it's not just because of the playoff picture. It's because of a 21-year-old rookie quarterback who's on the brink of doing something that hasn't been done in nearly 6 decades for one of the league's most snake-bitten franchises. Shedeur Sanders is standing at the edge of Browns history. One more win. One more poised performance. And he doesn't just become a promising young quarterback. He becomes a franchise reset button. If he beats the 49ers, he'll be the first rookie quarterback in the Super Bowl era to start 2-0 for Cleveland. That's not just a stat. That's a time capsule. That's 58 years of missed opportunities, false starts, and broken promises, suddenly shattered by one player who's barely unpacked his bags. You don't get many moments like this in Cleveland. This is a city that has been through it all: fumbled playoff hopes, meme-worthy quarterback rotations, the infamous jersey with all the scratched-out names. Quarterback has been a haunting. And now, one debut, one win, one jaw-dropping 52-yard throw later, and things are starting to feel different. But no one's giving Shedeur a soft launch. The 49ers are next. A team that's fast, physical, and playoff tested. This isn't just a measuring stick game. This is a full body scan. And yet, the buzz is getting louder. Joey Oden from the Browns report went public with the warning. He told the NFL to pay attention, because this isn't some novelty story. This is real. A rookie quarterback with composure, command, and talent, playing behind a defense that is actively terrorizing opposing quarterbacks. Because while Shedeur is rightfully getting headlines, you can't talk about this Browns team without giving full credit to the defense. Led by Myles Garrett, the Browns' defensive unit is built to break teams. They racked up 10 sacks against the Raiders. Garrett is chasing the single-season sack record like it owes him money. And the rest of the line? Just as hungry. This isn't a defense that's doing enough to win. This is a defense that's dictating games. And it's perfectly timed. Because when you have a rookie quarterback, the best thing you can give him, outside of a competent offensive line, is a defense that gets him back on the field. That shortens a field. That creates chaos and cashes in turnovers. The Browns' defense isn't just helping Shedeur, they're setting him up to win. That's the edge. And don't overlook the mental side of it. When you're a rookie in the NFL, confidence can disappear fast. One bad start, one ugly interception, and the whole tone changes. But Shedeur's debut wasn't just statistically solid. It looked and felt like he belonged. He moved in the pocket with purpose. He read the field. He didn't panic under pressure. And when it was time to take the deep shot, he took it. That confidence radiates. Not just to the offense, but to the entire team. You could feel it. The energy was different. The belief was different. And now the Browns are going into this game with something they haven't had in a long time: momentum. Let's talk about the environment. Because that matters too. This game is in Cleveland. Huntington Bank Field is going to be a madhouse. The Browns fan base isn't just showing up, they're locked in. Over 200,000 tuned in for Shedeur's debut stream. That's not casual curiosity. That's a city that's been starved for something real, and now they're watching it happen in real time. That energy is contagious. That home crowd advantage? It can't be overstated. The 49ers will have to deal with it every time they touch the ball. Every third down. Every pre-snap adjustment. And if things start going wrong early, that stadium is going to turn up to 11. But let's not pretend this is going to be easy. The 49ers are favored for a reason. They're sitting at 8-4. Their offense, even with its occasional inconsistencies, is still loaded. Christian McCaffrey is a nightmare in open space. Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel are playmakers who can break a game open in one snap. And their defense, led by Nick Bosa, is not about to roll over for a rookie. They're going to come after Shedeur. They're going to test him over and over. Blitzes, disguised coverages, collapsing pockets. It's all coming. This is the NFL's equivalent of a final exam. And yet, the line has shifted. The 49ers opened at -6. Now it's -4.5. That's not a mistake. That's the market reacting to what it saw from Cleveland last week. That's people watching Shedeur and saying, this kid might be for real. Because here's the truth, rookie quarterbacks aren't supposed to play like that. They're supposed to panic, hold the ball too long, force throws, break down under pressure. But Shedeur didn't do any of that. He stayed calm, kept drives alive, and took calculated risks. It wasn't perfect, but it was promising in a way that Cleveland hasn't seen in decades. And now he has the opportunity to cement that promise, to back up the hype with something far more permanent: results. If Shedeur pulls this off, it changes everything. The narrative, the expectations, the off-season planning. Because if the Browns finally have their quarterback, they finally have direction. They don't have to keep searching. They don't have to waste more draft capital or cap space hoping to stumble onto someone who might be good enough. They can build around him, with him. And that makes all the... And let's not forget what this means for Shedeur personally. This isn't just another NFL game. This is a chance to make history right out of the gate. To do something that no Browns quarterback has done since the days of rotary phones and black and white television. The opportunity to go 2-0 as a rookie starter isn't just rare, it's iconic. And for a quarterback who's already carrying so many expectations, so much attention, it's the kind of moment that sets the tone for an entire career. If he wins this game, it'll be everywhere. Highlight reels, debate shows, social media. He'll instantly go from rookie to watch to franchise cornerstone. And that spotlight? He's already shown he's not afraid of it. Now he gets to walk into it fully. But there's another side to this, and it's worth talking about. What if the Browns lose? What if the 49ers do what they've done to so many teams, take the lead early, unleash the pass rush, and grind the game down with McCaffrey's legs? That's the risk. Because while Shedeur looked great in his debut, the NFL doesn't care. One bad game, and the same media that praised him will turn on him immediately. That's the double-edged sword of attention. One win makes you a star. One loss makes you a question mark. And that's what makes this game so tense. Because the stakes aren't just high, they're legacy-altering. If the Browns win, it's not just an upset. It's a historical correction. It's the franchise finally finding the quarterback they've been chasing for decades. It's the moment they stop being a cautionary tale and start being a real threat. But if they lose, if Shedeur struggles, if the offense stalls, if the defense can't hold back the 49ers attack, it's going to sting. The excitement will take a hit. The momentum will stall. And the narrative will wobble. That's the pressure cooker Shedeur is walking into. And yet, based on what we've seen so far, he looks ready. Not just for the throws. Not just for the defensive reads. But for the moment. For the wait. For the expectations. And that's why everyone should be watching this game. Because it's not just a Sunday matchup. It's a turning point. For the Browns. For Shedeur Sanders. For the entire story this franchise has been trying to rewrite for years. So now it's up to him. One more game. One more performance. And everything could change. And now it all comes down to this. One game. One quarterback. One shot at rewriting decades of failure. Shedeur Sanders, in just his second NFL start, isn't just carrying the ball. He's carrying Cleveland's weight. The disappointment. The heartbreak. The revolving door of quarterbacks. The endless maybe next year speeches. All of it is sitting on his shoulders as he walks into Sunday's showdown against the 49ers. And somehow he doesn't look rattled. That's the part that's throwing people off. Because typically, rookies in this situation aren't supposed to look this calm. They're not supposed to walk onto the field and lead. Not against this kind of opponent. Not with this kind of pressure. And definitely not in a city like Cleveland, where football is more religion than sport and patience ran out somewhere around 2003. But Shedeur is built differently. He walks with quiet confidence. No theatrics, no over-the-top bravado. Just production. That 52-yard bomb in his debut wasn't luck. That was a moment of clarity. The kind of throw that makes defensive coordinators flinch and teammates buy in. That play told everyone, this kid isn't guessing out there. He knows what he's doing. And that belief is spreading fast. The locker room feels it. The coaching staff sees it. And the fans? They've latched onto it like it's the first real thing they've had in years. The city is buzzing not because of some overhyped preseason storyline, but because they've finally seen something real. But that makes Sunday even bigger. Because now, this game isn't just about starting 2-0. It's about proving that Shedeur can sustain this. That it wasn't a flash in the pan. That it wasn't just adrenaline and hype and a good matchup. He's not playing for style points. He's playing for trust. For validation. And the opponent? Couldn't be more appropriate. The 49ers aren't just a good team. They're a litmus test. Built tough, Balanced and battle-tested. They expose weak quarterbacks. They feast on hesitation. They punish mistakes. It's not just about whether Shedeur can make big throws. It's about whether he can do it when the pocket's collapsing, when the blitz is coming, when the crowd is going wild and the clock is working against him. This is a grown man game, and Shedeur's being asked to prove he belongs in it. Fortunately for him, he's not alone. The Browns' defense is the anchor in all of this. Myles Garrett is playing at an MVP level, and the rest of the defensive unit is right behind him. 10 sacks in one game? That's not just domination. It's disruption on a level that tilts the entire field. That kind of pressure changes games. It shortens drives. It forces turnovers. And most importantly, it gives your quarterback breathing room. And that's the blueprint. If Cleveland's defense shows up like it did last week, Shedeur won't need to be Superman. He'll need to be solid, efficient, smart, and if the opportunity presents itself, surgical. Because the Browns don't need a miracle. They just need execution. They need Shedeur to do what he's already shown he can do. Stay poised, take what the defense gives him, and make the defense pay. When it slips up, whether that's with another deep shot or a well-timed scramble, it's about making the right decision in the moment. And if he does that, we're not just talking about a 2-0 start. We're talking about the start of a new era. One where the Browns aren't defined by past failures. One where they don't need to duct tape their quarterback situation together every offseason. One where they finally have answers instead of excuses. Because the truth is, franchises don't change with a speech. They don't turn around because of slogans or new jerseys or motivational quotes in the locker room. They change when someone wins. When someone shows up, blocks out the noise, and delivers. That's what Shedeur has the chance to do. He doesn't need to be perfect. He doesn't need 5 touchdowns. He just needs a win. A clean, gritty, hard-earned win over a top-tier opponent. That's how you earn respect. That's how you make it. So here we are, hours away from kickoff, and all eyes are on Cleveland. Again. But this time, it feels different. If you're feeling this shift too, hit that like button. Drop your final score predictions in the comments. Does Sanders make history, or do the 49ers spoil the party? And if you want to stay locked in on this saga, make sure to subscribe. Because this story is just getting started, and you're going to want to be here for every second of it.